When baking for the holidays, rather than waiting for hard frozen butter to thaw or softening it in the microwave, just use a cheese grater to shred the desired amount for your recipe. No mess, no fuss.
This portion of Talk of the Town is sponsored by Electronic Express.
Here's another one of those tips that'll come in handy. Nobody likes cold congealed gravy. Make it ahead and store it in a thermos, which will keep it smooth and warm until it's ready to be poured into the gravy boat and brought to the table.
Dessert is always the star of your holiday meal, and you can't go wrong with these two recipes. And Cox Eastes from Kroger is here with the sweet details. You've got chocolate eggnog cheesecake squares and eggnog cheesecakes with cream cheese for cupcakes with cream cheese frosting.
Tasty. I've made these several times at home and I always get rave reviews, so I think we're okay on these two recipes.
All right, so go ahead and start us off.
Okay, I have taken chocolate cream sandwich cookies and crumbled up about 15 or 2 cups worth in my food processor. I've melted 2 tablespoons of butter and then I have pressed it in a 9x13 pan, which I lined with aluminum foil so that we can lift it out easy later on after it's cooked.
Okay,
but
right.
I have found that using a metal spoon to smooth this out and fit it into that pan works the best. I've tried my fingers and spatulas and that works best.
Okay.
And then in my mixing bowl for the filling, I have softened 2 packages, 8 ounces of cream cheese. I put a tablespoon of flour and a half a cup of sugar in there and beat it up to this point because I didn't think we wanted to use the electric mixer here. So I'm going to let you mix in the other ingredients. Start out with my 2 eggs
okay.
and beat them up. You go ahead and pour them in. I've tried to beat them up a little bit ahead of time. Now, if you're at home, you can use an electric mixer and that'll make it go a lot faster. But then you're going to pour in a half a cup of eggnog, and this is just the dairy store-bought eggnog that we used. Didn't make any from scratch. It's a lot more convenient this way.
It is,
and I'm going to mix this up as good as I can. And remember, we've got a chocolate crust. And then, of course, to add just a little bit more chocolate, Leland, I've got a half a cup of the mini chocolate chips we're going to just pour
put them
here,
all in there. All righty.
And I'm going to kind of
fold. I
fold.
gotta save a couple.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to fold them in here.
Okay.
And this is going to be poured over our crust and bake in a 325-degree oven for 35 to 40 minutes. So set your timer on that. And when this comes out, I want you to cool it on a cooling rack for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then put it in the refrigerator for another hour or 2 to firm up before you cut it in squares. And see, the foil lined makes it so much easier to lift out and then cut into your squares. And you can cut them into, like the size I've got there, they're really like more rectangular pieces than squares. I have like 32 of those, but if you wanted them smaller pieces, you could cut it into 48